So on Thursday, June 11th, Sony finally had their PS5 event that was mainly targeted to showing the new games that would be running on the PS5 and showing us the graphical power. Overall, I really liked Sony's approach to this live stream event. They went straight to the point, not much talking about the SSD and all the new technology that they have talked about in previous events, and they simply went ahead and revealed plenty of new games and some old, aka 7-year-old GTA 5, which in my opinion is fine that they are enhancing the game for PS5, as I'm a huge fan of the series. I don't know why many people were complaining for Rockstar milking the game. I mean, if game developers end up enhancing most, if not all of the PS4 games over to the PS5, I'll be a happy gamer. So my hope is that PS3 games also would be games that get enhanced over for the PS5, as I'm really looking forward to playing my full PS3 library of games with better resolution and better graphics. However, it looks like that might be asking for a little bit too much on Sony's side, at least compared to Microsoft with what they're doing. But the other main surprise is that Sony finally showed us what the PS5 console will look like, which, to be quite clear, I do not hate the way the console looks, but I will say that it will have to grow on me, as I'm mainly a fan of consoles with a more classic and simple look, like the one that the PS4, PS4 Slim, and PS4 Pro have, in comparison to the PS5's futuristic look. Also, as I mentioned as well in another video, I'm a big fan of the PS4 DualShock 4 controller, as I find it a very sleek, simple, and classy design in comparison to the PS5's DualSense that went that futuristic route to obviously match the console, as we can see from the reveal on Thursday. So another thing that I noticed besides the futuristic look of the console was the size of it. From comparisons that I've seen online, it looks like it will be quite bigger console in comparison to that of the Xbox Series X's rectangular cube-shaped console. In addition, I also saw a chart that showed the simple comparison of the PS5 with the PS4 Pro, PS4 Slim, PS4, and then also the Xbox One X. And I have to say that it is quite a bigger console. Maybe this is for better ventilation as well. I guess we'll have to wait for a Digital Foundry teardown video and see what else they look into the console and see what the reasoning is for such a big console, because comparing it to even previous generations of the PlayStation family, like the PS3's biggest, the fat PS3 or PS2, PS1, it is quite a bigger console. So I'm sure that at some point Sony will probably release, after a couple of years, a slim version of the console, as they usually do. So maybe whenever they do that, I'll end up selling my normal PS5 to get the slimmer version. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, the look of the console does not play a factor in playing the games well, which is what matters, but I do like having a nice looking console that looks good with my furniture. That's just my personal preference, and if there's a slimmer console in the future, I always prefer to have a smaller version of the same console. It's interesting that Sony also decided to do what Microsoft did with offering a normal version of the console with a disk drive and an all digital version that will probably be cheaper. My guess is $50 cheaper. I was hoping more that they would advertise one console with the 850GB SSD they have mentioned previously, and then offer a 2TB SSD version for those planning to buy many more games and make it more future proof. After seeing that Amazon UK had a placeholder leak of a 2TB SSD PS5, I had my hopes up, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what Sony reveals in the future, since according to an ex-engineer from Sony, they have been keeping many secrets under the rug. My main hope is, besides an option with a bigger SSD, that they shock all of us PlayStation fans with a full backwards compatibility for PS4, PS3, PS2, and PS1 while enhancing resolution for those games, but one can only wish at this point. This leads me to one of my disappointments from the show, which I will specify that I was not expecting it to happen, as both companies are keeping this card close to the chest. I was hoping that Sony would finally reveal how much the console is going to cost, but I guess that at this point we'll have to wait a little longer to find out what that is going to be. But anyways, moving on to more important stuff, let's now shift the focus on to the important things, the games that I would more than likely end up playing. So I won't really talk much about games that are targeted for kids or indie games, but I will let you know what I think about the main games that I will more than likely end up playing, and let you know what I hope it brings to the table. Let's first start with the elephant in the room, Grand Theft Auto 5, enhanced and expanded for PS5. PS5. I mean, I'm a little surprised they announced GTA 5 for PS5 at this event, as something supposedly big from Rockstar was supposed to be revealed. In general, I was already expecting Rockstar and many developers to enhance their games for PS5, as it is a previous generation game. In this case, even a previous one, because it started with the PS3. So hopefully if you have already bought the game, you won't have to buy it again. Will I play it again? I think I will get to the point where I probably will due to nostalgia, since it is a great game. And playing it in 4K, 60 FPS, hopefully, and more details will improve the experience once again. Number 2, Spider-Man Miles Morales. I'm definitely excited for this game. I will say that I still have pending to play the first Spider-Man game for the PS4, but once I do beat it, I'll be playing this one for sure. I've heard great things from the first game and would expect this game to be just as good, if not better, than the first one. And since I am a Batman Arkham games fan, I've heard and seen gameplay that this is one that is very similar to that type of gameplay. So I think it's going to be a really good one. I don't know the full story of that universe, to be quite frank, but I've heard really good stuff about it and seen really good stuff about it online, so it should be something really exciting and to look forward to. Number 3, Horizon Forbidden West. First thing first, let's start with the graphics. So far, looked amazing for this game. I haven't had time to finish the first one, but definitely excited for them to have a sequel ready for it, since it is a great game. So hopefully the sequel ends up improving in everything from the first game, which I'm sure it will not disappoint at all. Number 4, Sackboy: A Big Adventure. I'm a huge fan of the Little Big Planet universe, one of the few games that are for younger people or kids. But still, it is very fun to play with a group of friends or family members. So even though the graphics wise, like, it will not look like anything crazy next gen in comparison, I guess, with how it looks in the PS4 and the PS3, I do think that it is nice that they're bringing back this franchise to this next gen console. I do wonder why they switched the name to Sackboy instead of keeping it with the franchise name of Little Big Planet, but only they'll know, I guess. I guess one day they'll end up explaining it and letting us know why. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal, but I guess I could have just called it Little Big Planet 4. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to switch it up a little bit. Number 5, Resident Evil 8 Village. Let's start with graphically. This looked amazing. However, I am a little iffy on the whole werewolves coming into the Resident Evil universe. It did catch me off guard a little bit at the beginning. I wasn't expecting that. This game, it will be a first-person game just like Resident Evil 7, and it looks like with the whole village scenario, they will be able to use that graphics engine and scenario for the future Resident Evil 4 remake that a lot of people are thinking they're going to be releasing, and they kind of hinted also that they're going to be releasing that as well. So I guess we'll have to see how the story plays out for Resident Evil 8, and if it actually ends up being really good or not, and how the werewolves then are playing their role in that story. I think I saw at the end of the trailer they showed Chris Redfield making a comeback, so that should be very exciting. Number 6, Demon's Soul, the remake from Blue Point. So this game, I have never gotten to play it back even when when it was out on the PS3. Even though I heard it was a really good game, and I think back then I remember it beat Metal Gear Solid 4 for Game of the Year in the GameSpot website, which I was it was an IGN, I think GameSpot actually had Metal Gear 4 be the Game of the Year. Anyways, I remember it beat it at some point, and I was like, what is this game? I've never heard of it in my life. But now, by watching the trailer of the remake and seeing screenshot comparisons of the PS3 version with the PS5 remake from Blue Point, I have to say that I'm fully on board to playing this game. The level of detail in the world and characters that Blue Point is able to create now looks astonishing. Definitely, if you haven't seen the comparisons, look them up. It is impressive how long we have come in games now. You see a really big difference in the not level design, but the environment design is what I mean, or the details, the grass, the armor, and the characters. Everything just looks way better. So I highly recommend you guys go look up those comparison screenshots or videos that they're making out there on YouTube. Number 7, Gran Turismo 7. I'll probably buy this game when it drops in price, to be quite frank. I do like racing games, but I'm simply not crazy about them. So I'll probably just get this one since I want to experience the feeling of the DualSense with a racing game like Gran Turismo, which has always been a benchmark in racing gaming. And this way, hopefully, I'll be able to hear the engine of the cars with a new 3D audio that has been mentioned previously, and it is quite revolutionary. So maybe this will help me get me more immersed with the experience of driving a car and get the feel of the haptic feedback from the DualSense controller and see how that ends up working with these type of games, with the triggers, with the acceleration and braking the car and turning and whatnot. So that should be something to look forward to as well. Number 8, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. The Ratchet and Clank franchise is a very fun one, so this game will definitely be another one to get. Graphically, you can see improvements obviously, so hopefully it has a fun story like the previous ones, and the characters are just as fun as they have been before. The level design on this game looks really cool, and the whole time travel setting, you know, kind of sets up a little bit of variety with the gameplay of going back and forth within different times and whatnot, at least from what they showed in the trailer. So it looks like it's going to be a really fun game to play with the family, you know, play with the kids or something like that. So I definitely look forward to playing the new Ratchet and Clank game as well. Number 9, Returnal. This is supposed to be a new, I think it's a new first party exclusive Sony game. Not sure how I feel about this game, quite honestly. It takes an interesting concept from movies like No Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt, where you end up dying and then you get to relive that back again at a certain point and keep advancing and dying and then relive it over and over. So we'll have to see how this ends up playing out in a game, and hopefully the story ends up being very good, which usually with exclusive games from Sony, they end up having these really good, cool stories. So I'm not going to think or say that I think it'll be a bad game. I think it'll end up holding itself up, you know, to the rest of the other Sony exclusives, but we'll have to see once it actually comes out. Number 10, Hitman 3. I'm a huge fan of the Hitman games. The last two were, in my opinion, very good, and Absolution was the one that got me involved in this franchise. I hope to see more of the graphics and gameplay, because from what I saw in the trailer shown, the in-gameplay graphics did not look that much different from the last two, I think, but who knows, maybe they'll end up improving it at the end or before they release it. I am expecting a little bit more graphically, like from the world, to look better, so hopefully they're able to do more with that, because I wasn't too amazed, I guess, from what I saw from the trailer. I mean, the game looked fun, it looked cool, the CGI trailers looked really good, so there's a difference there, but the actual gameplay did not look that amazing. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts and comments on the PS5 event, the console reveal, and some of the games shown. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please make sure you smash that like button for this video and subscribe to the channel so that you end up seeing more news and walkthroughs about games. Hope you all stay safe and have a great day.